everyone. My name is Sarah Beth, and I just finished reading Every Sweet Thing is Bitter by Samantha Crewson. This was published in April of this year and was my pick for April for Book of the Month. This is about 300 pages long, and please, 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 before you go any further, check your triggers. This is a dark book, and it touches upon very gruesome topics. I don't think this book is necessarily very graphic. There is nothing salacious about this book, but there is a bit of, there's some dark topics that you're fully aware of, and if you're an adult, you will fully understand them, so do not let a child, or I think a teenager could probably take this book and wouldn't be too troubled, because once again, it's not very graphic, but definitely not a child, and maybe an older teen would be okay. So, basic premise of this book. We have our main protagonist. Her name is Providence. She is an ex-felon who's coming back to her hometown because her mother's gone missing. The reason why she was in jail is because she attempted to kill her mother when she actually attempted to kill her father, but because her mother pushed him out of the way, she ran over her mother with a car. So, great start, right, guys? Her father was a very abusive alcoholic, and so he's still alive, mother's gone, she's coming back, and she does not want to stay at home because it is definitely one of her triggers. She has a lot of, PTSD that's due from being in prison for quite a long period of time, and she's finally put her life back on track. She has a lot of tattoos, she's had cosmetic surgery, and she's basically sculpted herself into a new person because of how damaged she felt growing up in that environment. And she's gone through a lot of therapy, and she's really tried to make something of herself separate from who she was before. And I think that that's one of the strengths of this novel is its character development and just the crew of characters, because nobody is specifically perfect or not perfect. You can't really guess who somebody is just based off of a character type. There's a lot of layers and depth to everybody that's included in this novel. Even characters you don't really like, you can to a degree kind of see where they're coming from and how they became the way they are. So she's come back to her hometown to search for her missing mother, and she's basically seen along the way how people are reacting to her and how her youngest sister, Grace, who was just a child when she left to prison, is basically tormented in the house that she was also tormented in. So she, to a degree, feels guilty for that, and she's trying to figure out why her mother almost tried to place Grace, her youngest sister, into her care. Middle sister, nobody cares. She's an adult, she's messed up, she's a weird woman. Harmony, you'll never understand her, but I enjoyed it. And I think that just the ideas of this book are a little muddled. I think that there is a stand that is trying to be made, but it never fully commits to any one way. I think at times it said your found family is better than your real family, but then again, blood is thicker than water, but you can wash blood off of a couch. So it's kind of back and forth and back and forth. Is it important to have friends in your newfound family? Should you still care about your old family? So it's just, it never really decides, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it, constantly wants to keep you guessing. I think the ending in itself, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I think that it was pretty anticlimactic, a little boring. It ended, you understand why it ended that way, but there wasn't really that much resolve to the ending. Okay, that's not true. There was resolve on one layer of the ending, it was an important thing to have resolved. You're happy that it happened. It was foreshadowed throughout the entire novel. I think that it's funny that there is a smoking gun introduced, and it's never used, really. It is, but not really. And I kept thinking to myself, if you introduce a gun into the novel, it's gotta be fired. Not the case for this book. I don't know if that's giving anything away, but that was a little disappointing me. I guess it was just trying to go off of, away from stereotypes, but the end was still... whatever. I think that the prose is fine. It's nothing to write home about. I think there are times in which the simplicity is done rather well, in which I think just the human ability to basically yearn for another person or yearn for freedom or be trapped in your own body. I think a lot of these kind of themes are tackled rather well. I just think a lot of it was a little surface. I think that maybe that's a good thing. because, once again, really gruesome ideals are in this novel, but you never get into the graphics of it all. Really, you don't. You know that her mother was crushed by a car and she got hooked on oxycodone codone afterwards, which is obviously horrible, but you don't really have to see too much of that addiction, I think. So I think that it's a sad book. It's definitely not for somebody that's looking for an upbeat read. It's a rather quick read. I read it pretty quickly. I think that I'm not going to say it's fun, but I think that it's intriguing enough. I think that I had enjoyment from reading said book. I wish I had more to say about it. I think that I really enjoyed the characters, and I think that's the real appeal of the book. I think the plot is a bit weak. I think that it never really goes anywhere, which is fine usually. Usually I really enjoy that kind of novel, but I think that maybe because of the promise that it feels like it's supposed to go somewhere and it doesn't. And maybe I think this novel should have been just a bit longer to really delve into those themes, like I said before, that were muddled. And I think if they were fully exposed, it might have been a stronger read for me. So personally, I'm not going to recommend this. I think it was enjoyable, but I don't think it was great and probably not worth the money. Anyway, I hope you enjoy my review and have a good one.